and every one of you for making the effort to be here today, for taking the time to join together. You know, it's funny, I was hearing that earlier today on the television. There was someone saying, why is AOC, and why are AOC and Bernie going to Idaho? And I'll give you one simple answer. It's because you matter. It's because we matter. My name is Alexandria. Some of you may know me as AOC, and again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for welcoming me. We're here together today because we share, all of us share, in the frustration and the heartbreak that comes from watching those in power actively tear down or refuse to fight for everyday working Americans like us. Because an extreme concentration of power, greed, and corruption is taking over this country like never before. You know, it's bone-chilling. Every day there's something new, and today we just saw President Trump express openness to taking U.S. citizens and sending them off without due process to foreign prisons. But this concentration of power, greed, and corruption is oligarchy. It's oligarchy in America. And we must acknowledge the terrifying moment that we are in right now, and that what we are hearing and seeing with our own eyes is, in fact, happening. We are watching as our neighbors, students, and friends are being fired, targeted, and disappeared. This is real. People we love are being targeted and harassed just for being LGBTQ. Our workers, our co-workers, U.S. citizens and immigrants alike are being disappeared off the street by men in vans with no uniform. Being fired for teaching American history accurately. And activists are being detained with no charge or evidence for using their First Amendment rights, especially if they are being used to end the war in Gaza. In fact, the Trump administration admits that it has jailed Mahmoud Khalil, a young husband and father from where I come from in New York, without any evidence or charge of a crime. They openly admit that they have thrown him in a cell thousands of miles away because he attended a protest and they did not like the content of his speech. And Donald Trump's detention of Mahmoud Khalil for his speech is anti-American too. And we demand his release, along with the release of Rumeysa Ozturk, who he is also jailing for writing an op-ed in her school paper. You know, Idaho, I am so touched being here. I'm a girl from the Bronx. And to be welcomed here in this state, all of us together, seeing our common cause, this is what this country is all about. Don't let them trick us into thinking we are enemies. Don't let them trick us into thinking we can be separated into rural and urban, black and white and Latino. We are one. We do have power in this moment. All of us do. Everyday people do. And it will never However, this is important. It will never be just institutions and politicians and officials alone that uphold our democracy. It will always be the people, the masses, who refuse to comply with authoritarian regimes, who are the last and strongest defense of our country and our freedoms. It is you. It is you, Idaho. We know that a better world is possible, and we are willing to do something about it. But to get there, we need to be honest about how we got to where we are right now. Because this moment did not come out of nowhere. It has been a long time coming. The destruction of our rights and democracy is directly tied to the growing and extreme wealth inequality in America that has been building for years. And it is not a coincidence that billionaires like Elon Musk dumped billions into this election to elect Trump. And he sure as hell ain't doing it out of charity, Idaho. For years, we have known that our political system has slowly but surely become dominated by big money and billionaires. And time after time, we've seen how our government and laws are more responsive to lobbyists and corporations than the will of everyday people and voters. And we also know that the agenda of dark money to keep wages low and loot our public goods to give to the rich is deeply unpopular with the people, Democrat, Independent, and Republican alike. But just look at what Republicans have been quietly doing in Congress, voting to advance cuts on hundreds of billions of dollars from Medicaid and veterans benefits. So they can take that money and give it to billionaires in the form of tax cuts and sweetheart government contracts to their own companies like SpaceX. And I'll tell you, I've seen Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, talk about Medicaid. First of all, Medicaid, I want you all to know, Medicaid is one of the most efficient government programs with the least amount of waste. Only 2% of people on Medicaid are able-bodied and looking for a job. Only 2%. And I saw Mike Johnson on the television saying, we gotta stop all these able-bodied men from being on Medicaid. First of all, like it's a crime for someone to have health care in America. Health care is a human right in America, and everyone should have it. Everyone should see a doctor. We must end the indignity of not being able to afford medicine, a doctor's appointment, being able to take care of one another. But that aside, we must know that these cuts are exactly how they are trying to loot. It's not about waste. It's about what they're trying to give to the billionaires who pay them.
Right.
And you know who voted? You know who from Idaho voted to gut Medicaid for everybody, by the way? Both of your senators, Jim Risch and Mike Craig. Unpopular. They know that it hurts the working families of Idaho, but they are not here to serve working families. They are here to serve themselves and the billionaires who pay them. And they know that the only chance they have to get away with such an unpopular and hurtful agenda is to stoke deep divisions along race, identity, and culture to keep us fighting and distracted. It's not gonna work anymore. But this has been the big money playbook, not just now, but it's been their playbook for decades. And that is why Donald Trump is not an aberration. He is the logical, inevitable conclusion of an American political system dominated by corporate and dark money. And if we are to defeat him, we must defeat the system that created him. America, we are at a crossroads. We can either have extreme wealth inequality with the toxic division and corruption that it requires to survive, or we can have a fair economy for working people along with the democracy and the freedoms that uphold it.